Welcome to Sunny King 2024. Start us off here. There's a photographer still out in course, so I think everybody was a little hesitant, luckily, but kicked it up pretty quickly here. Plenty of teams. There was like 102, 110, somewhere around that entrance, which is the most I've ever seen at Sunny King. So this race was bound to be pretty hard. This team, which is no longer, as is my team, no longer. The NCL has folded. We'll discuss that in a little bit, but for now, let's focus on this race. Have Luke Fetzer there from, actually, no, that was Ty Magner from Legion. He's one to watch. Super fast finisher. Atlanta Rise guy going off the front here, first lap. In my rear view, you can see Gomez. He's quickly coming up, kind of patrolling the front on Rainstorm. That's the team to watch today. Alfredo's right on my wheel. They both got call-ups or we're at the front. They're super fast finishers, so both dudes to watch on Rainstorm Cycling in that red kit. Also, Work Hard, Be Humbles here, Nashville Local Cycling. We got a lot of guys. First Internet, plenty of dudes in this race to make it exciting. And yeah, it starts off exciting. Guys going off the front early. I was kind of hesitant to go hard. I am on a gravel bike for this race, as seems to be the custom for this. But this upcoming weekend at Noonan, I actually am going to be on a road bike with rim brakes, no less. On the left here, we have Kingdom Elite Racing. They're wearing that black. I guest rode with them earlier this year. Awesome group of guys, and I know they're super strong. You'll see plenty more of them. Actually, right now, you're going to see more of them. I think this is Luke. He was trying to close down this gap, and I hit it pretty hard through. Actually, there might not have even been a gap at this point. We're really early in the race. Yeah, he was just attacking. So I hit it pretty hard through the top, through that corner, trying to learn my limits on the corner. Peter Olenichek, you'll see on my right here, he told me there was, in fact, no gap. So I lifted off. We let the pace lull, and we have some interesting tactics for this race. So I was guest riding for this team Velocious Sport with the red pants. You've seen them plenty of times before in any of my videos. I'll point them out if you can see them again. But kind of a skeleton crew, like last minute cobbled together. So we're doing the standard and most fun way of racing, in my opinion, of attacking and seeing what sticks, hoping you've got enough guys to make more things stick. I stayed away for like a lap or two right there, and was quickly caught by this other team up there in blue pants and the white jersey, which they came through. One Rainstorm guy. Rainstorm was actually being super animative of this race. So they were definitely looking for a breakaway. I don't think they wanted to pull a breakaway back, which I don't blame them for. And they have strong enough guys to get into breakaways. Coming through, 50 minutes left in the race, and Nico here on my right, you can see his hand there bandaged up pretty well. This is a team that I'm on, so this is my teammate, red pants here. Nico cut his hand open in an early crash. There was one in the bunch coming up the finish straight here, but he got back in the race, kept racing super strong. We actually had to go to the hospital after this to get him stitches, so he definitely needed stitches, and it was pretty rough. On my right here in red pants as well, that's Gage Heck, the multi-time national champion, and up the road we have a little gap forming. I think there's a Rainstorm guy up there, not remembering who at the moment, but yeah, that's a significant gap, and Rainstorm second wheel, so they're not going to pull through if flicked. I know that's pretty threatening, so I'm going to have to get up there, and this is going to be a theme for me, Gage, and Nico for a lot of this race, is kind of on our back foot the whole time, like responding to stuff, attacking where we can, but definitely saving matches and staying up front as much as possible. This little bridge here, didn't have anybody on my wheel, but I knew it was going to be worth it to bridge. That was quite a gap, and then right here, that breakaway starts sitting up, not really working together well. Usually on this course, it's really hard to get like a big group to work together, so I ended up catching them, and then right on this finish straight here, there was a few attacks from the field, so we were also caught, and it all came right back together. But hoping Gage, who's like on 8 hours a week right now of training, working as an air traffic controller, can help me out, and Nico can help me out, even though he's got his injury. Right there on Ty Magner's wheel, he was being pretty early animating, and on the right there, that next lap, nothing really happened until it started happening again. So guys sending attacks that next lap once they recovered a little bit. No rainstorm guys were up there, so I don't think it's that threatening in my book. And it looks like one after another guys are going to start bridging up. Butcherbox kind of came to the front there, even though they did have a guy in that breakaway, I think, but it probably wasn't their right guy. They've got Simon Daniels in this race, who's a super fast finisher, and he would actually make it into a pretty decisive breakaway. Here on the right is Alfredo, and I've kind of noticed at the beginning of this race, we're almost 20 minutes in, I have not seen Alfredo do much at all during this race, so got to keep my eye on him. He's always a factor in races. Sunday King last year, he posted up a little early, and my teammate at the time, Cade on Project Echelon, nipped him, so I know he's gonna be out for redemption. And right here I'm on Michael Hernandez's wheel through that corner, and see Hernandez let that gap go. I know I don't want to deal with that on the actual hill, so close it down right before that last lap. You can see right there on the middle of that corner, there's actually like a weird pavement patch that was throwing a lot of people off, but I think if you went inside, you just cut in late and went inside, it was totally fine. Now I'm in like a little tiny move with Alfredo. Field's not going to let it happen. It's a little too early. People still have too much energy. Hernandez has been in a break in this pack before, at this race before. Him and Tanner Ward went off the front, so I know like a small breakaway is ideal for this. Too many guys is not going to work together well. Alfredo notices that there are just too many guys off the front here. He's not going to close that gap down, and we both kind of roll back into the field. But the gap does start coming down. On this hill here, it's pretty easy to get gaps back. Even a big like 10-second gap can come back if the field sits up, but things are very threatening nonetheless, especially if there's like 2 or 3 good laps of the field sitting up. And on that hill, I decided to close down this little gap to this big group. At this point, I probably should have recognized that groups this big weren't destined to go. But one thing I started seeing now is that Michael Garrison in the green kit, you'll see him in just a second, Michael Garrison is wanting a breakaway as well, and he's pretty hungry for it. We're about to hop on his wheel here, and here he goes, right into those bottom 2 corners. So I was able to catch that little group just in time, hoping the field doesn't come through that break, and that, I mean, 3 of us, First Internet Bank, me and Michael Garrison, maybe we can put some pressure on Rainstorm, maybe have Gage go over a little bit later, or maybe have Rainstorm catch up to us. At this point, Garrison's hitting it pretty hard. There are guys off the front, and he's closing him down. So we're going super hard. At this point I was already hurting pretty bad. Again, on the not right bike. I think my bike was like 20-ish pounds. So we're rolling through here. There are a good few guys off the front here right now, and we're gonna try and pull him back. I'm pretty gassed after that little bridge, catching back up to that group, and I'm not gonna pull through. It looks like Garrison sees that the field's on us too, but he's gonna push one more time. This is a pretty effective tactic on this course. If you just like keep the pressure on, some people won't close gaps down, and Garrison was able to continue rolling through this right here. This is going to happen again. You can see the drone chasing right there. A little later in the race, and we've got some guys animating. Gage follows right there. Perfect timing. We have like half of the race to go. You can see my teammate Nico moving up too, so I've got plenty of guys at the front. I know I can roll back a little bit after those few efforts and, yeah, relax a good bit. I think that's Alfredo on the right, so we're happy. Alfredo's not going anywhere, and their finishers are in the group still. At this point in the race, like almost 30 minutes to go, you can see right here in front of me, catch back up to Alfredo. He's still in the race, has been at the front. He's definitely patrolling for a break, but hasn't been spending a lot of energy. So this is a dangerous part in the race. I'm like pretty tired at this point. He's got his teammate here, Gomez, who's also an absolute beast. Either one of them can win this race on their own. The fact that they're on the same team is quite scary, so we knew we'd have to watch out for them. They're both patrolling the front pretty hard. I've got my teammate Nico coming up, and At this point, they actually went off the front. Alfredo and Gomez both went off the front. Gomez pushed it pretty hard for a few laps. They had one or two other guys with them. Simon Daniels was up in that break with them. You can see them up the road here. There's like 4 or 5 guys, so it's just small enough to be a super dangerous breakaway on this course. And at this point, I was getting pretty desperate. So down the hill, I hit it pretty hard and then kind of coasted in. Right here, Garrison, he's the last guy who's going to make it across to that group. He's going to do the solo bridge, and yeah, there's just enough of a gap. He came past like at just enough speed, and I'm pretty gassed that I knew this was the wheel to be on, but I need someone else to pull through. And Kingdom Elite Racing here, I think this is Choopy. He was not able to, it might be Luke. He was not able to hit it, so I know I've got to like close down this gap as much as I can, hoping to get this all back together or bridge across to it. And that like 600-700 watts up the hill just wasn't enough to shake anybody off my wheel. But we're getting pretty close to Garrison, so I think like hopefully people will start bridging over it, and no one decided to go right now. It's pretty close to that front group and to Garrison. Garrison's making it pretty good, and I know they've got Alfredo and Gomez in there, so any other team is going to be super threatened by this. First Internet decides to bridge across instead of like pulling on the front, and no other teams are really going to be motivated to pull on the front. Cliff Drifters has a full team here, but you can see Rainstorm is right there on the wheel, shutting anything down. They've got 2 guys up here, so they're really going to mute the tempo, and that group of 4 was able to keep like a 15-second gap the whole time, which has happened in this race before. So just 4 guys up the front. Garrison, that blue short and white shirt team, and this is 5 minutes to go. There's like a 15-second gap, and I really wanted to come back. I really want to bridge across. So into that last corner, which I found some good lines for, I hit it super hard, hoping to get some separation. They're not too far away, and come through this corner here. GoPro not doing so hot in this low light, but I really wanted this to come back, and people were able to actually like stick onto my wheel with 5 minutes to go in this race. Like 3 laps to go about when we get through the start finish here. I'm still hoping it'll come back, but if not, I'm gonna have to do a late move. First Internet Bank here actually pulled for like 2 laps trying to bring everything back together, but it wasn't to be, and Rainstorm set up their lead out for the field sprint, which was like 5th place. So I've got to keep up as much as I can. Don't have any other guys in the race at this point. I think Gage had opted out, and then Nico was kind of far back, so I didn't see him. Now I'm on my own here, so I'm gonna have to choke up as much as possible. Everybody's getting super nervous. ButcherBox has got their team coming up, but I know Simon's like feeling kind of tired, so I don't know who they're sprinting for. And this coming into the final 2 corners, I know I've got to be up front into those. We started getting swept by Rainstorm. I didn't think anybody come by on the corner here. It was closing down pretty fast. That guy there, Foundation, I think, rolled through. Car was stopped. Weird situations going on here. And then I didn't think that might have been Kyle or Zach, who just decided to kind of sit up. So, and the inside's still open. David Gutenplan gets through. I have to check up, so I'm losing some pace and then have to kick again, hoping I can keep some momentum through this last corner. But I closed it down a little too early. Gutenplan kind of sketched me out with that little line movement over to the outside, and I just couldn't get any speed back, whether it be legs or the gravel bike with the 50 mil tire clearance. I went straight back during the sprint. Finished out 13th. Alfredo Rodriguez won this year. Got a little redemption. Gomez in 2nd, so Rainstorm there got 1 and 2, and then this NC cycling team in 3rd. So good on Rainstorm. Thanks for watching Sunny King. See ya.